Today we will see the example of situational question. First of all, concentrately read the question and then listen to this video. Directly I am sharing the answer. So this question is based on vicarious liability principle. So what is vicarious liability? Vicarious liability means it makes one person liable or responsible for the torts. Torts means wrongful acts of another person even if the first person did not personally committed that act. Means though the person has not committed that act, then also he means that person will be responsible for the acts of the another. That is the vicarious liability. Torts, wrongful acts. In employment law, an employer can be held liable for the torts of their employees. Employer can be held liable for the torts of their employees, but when? If those torts are committed during the course of their employment. Means liability will only arise when the act is committed during the course of the employment. If the acts are done in their personal life, then that time employer will be not liable for the acts of the employees during the course of the employment. Only the employer will be liable for the acts of the employees. This is the principle. Now the question is first question is, will Anita succeed and why? Then yes, she will succeed. Now she has the case based on the argument that the firm should be vicariously liable. This is the first point of her argument, that the firm should be vicariously liable. Mr. X has fraudulently induced her to execute a transfer deed of cottages to himself. This act was done by Mr. X during the course of the employment, and Mrs. Anita has approached Mr. X because he was the clerk of ABC and Corporation, a firm of solicitors. Means why she has approached her? Because he was the clerk of this corporation. Mr. X used his position as a clerk in the firm to gain Anita's trust and induce the fraud. Means he used his position in a wrong manner and fraudulently induced her. Next is ABC and corporation liable and why? So here yes, this corporation is liable for the acts of their employees. This firm has employed Mr. X as a clerk. Most of the work of the firm was done by Mr. X. This we have seen in question. Most of the work of the firm was done by Mr. X. Now here ABC and corporation must be aware of whom they are employing, and they must have watch on the deeds of their employees. Because of this great reputation and name, means because of this reputation, fame of this ABC and corporation, Mrs. Anita has approached to this firm, and in the name of this firm, Mr. X has fraudulently induced her to execute a transfer deed of cottages to himself. Means Mr. X has fraudulently induced her, on whose name? In the name of this corporation. That's why ABC and corporation is liable. This clearly shows that Mr. X's work was done during the course of his employment. That's why the principle of vicarious liability applies here. ABC and corporation are hence liable for the acts of Mr. X, clerk of this firm.